low. Let me know if you guys can hear me or not. I know it does do a little bit of an auto adjust, and it looks a little bit low, but it looks like it's working. Of course, I go to get logged in today, and everything's like, enter your password now. It's like, oh, don't know what my password is. All right, cool. Thank you, Sean. All right, so part of the volume too is just my voice. If you guys can't tell, it's a little bit deeper, right? I told Todd, I was like, those old Billy D. Williams commercials, the Colt 45 commercials. Yeah, I feel like I'm at like Billy D. Williams level right now. I'm sucking on a cough drop too. Yeah, I had like almost no voice yesterday. It'll probably go before the end of today's session, and then I won't talk the rest of the day. But yeah, awesome game on Saturday. Uh, Best the boys have looked for a while. They finally played up to their potential, which was awesome. I rode my starters hard, but yeah, 3 games worked out well. We won the first one, second one. We ended up losing 2-1. It was literally we went up, we scored the first goal, was tied, and then with literally less than 30 seconds left, they scored at the end, and they blew the game. Like they scored and blew the whistle. I was like, really, it couldn't end 15 seconds sooner. And that was a team we've played a couple times. We tied them, and they beat us pretty bad last fall. And then this game was literally it could have gone either way. We missed a shot that we should have made like right on the crease. And then the last game we played a team that we played twice last fall, and they just destroyed us twice. It was like 13-0, 16-0. And we literally took them 3-3 to the last 5 minutes of the game. And they have 25 kids on the roster. And yeah, I have 17. So my kids were tired. It was the third game of the day, and we ended up losing 5-3. They legitimately got one on us. We were man down. We had a penalty, and they scored, which they should have done. It should have been a 4-3 game. And then literally with like almost no time, they took a shot from like midfield, and it hit the grass in a really funky way and like went sideways. Like everyone's like, "How the heck did that bounce like that?" But that's what happens with grass. You hit like a knot of grass, and it goes weird places. Um, but yeah, losing 5-3 to that team that destroyed us last time. I think we were like -1 goal differential in a day, which again, 3 games playing 2 teams that are in a division above us. We'll take it. It was good. Um, yeah, right. The metal vocals. No, it was the Mongolian throat singing, Noro. You guys, that's what it was. It was the Mongolian throat singing. No, lots of yelling. Um, all right. So as you guys can see, basically, we've had dollar strength. The pound has also had some strength in the overnight. You can see it is beating the dollar. It's up 23 and 24. The pound yen up 83 again shows you the decent movement in the pound. Belly spoke earlier today, and again they're coming through the recovery. So it's all been good news, and that's something we've mentioned the last couple of weeks. That the pound is, again because it's one nation. It's not the euro. They were at rock bottom with Brexit. They are kind of advancing for forward. Euro pound you can see is down 28. Right, so I mean it's decent strength versus the euro, but again the euro is really waiting for its rate statement this week to get any true data. Again, it's like out of sight, out of mind. And you can see, this is all the high impact news for the week. There's no pound date up here, but we do have euro. So, I do think overall on the weekly basis we will see more strength in the pound. Aussie obviously is down. Yen is up, and again you can still see dollar Swiss is going even higher. And again, this is as more and more certainty comes out there. Again, this is that risk on trade, right? Um, and you would think, with missiles being shot in the Middle East, that the Swiss would gain some strength, but it just hasn't. The dollar's just going too far. Nobody cares, right, about the Middle East at this point. It's kind of interesting because it used to be, you see a missile shoot, the Swiss was like bing, but it's not happening right now. As far as big news today, Yellen is talking about like a K-shaped recovery existed. What is this? A K-shaped recovery existed before COVID. Now it's worse. I don't know. We'll see. I think Yellen's looking through rose-colored glasses for everything. But the biggest news is again, Bailey talked. Euro, sinks below 19. More Brexit stuff. Dollar rising against one. That's a big deal. Really, there's not much down here. Chinese exports to Australia. Exports are surging. Let's see. And then the BOJ talking about, we must keep the yield curve stably low, right? Stably low. Again, if this was a Fed governor that said that, like if Powell said this, we need to keep the yield curve stably low, would have a lot more market movement versus the BOJ. But it's interesting that's what the BOJ is thinking. So besides that, I wouldn't say that there's really anything earth shattering. And again, tomorrow, nothing. right? I mean, there's just really not a whole lot of news this week. This is one of those dry weeks. You can see going into tomorrow, there's a little bit of stuff here. Unemployment rate not expected to change. German data expected to be negative. Um, and that this may bump the euro a bit. This may be like a European session kind of tool. I would say, the way that this is forecast right now, it looks like this would be an interesting euro pound type setup. Maybe something short. Or for this morning, and again, that's probably why we see it. I'm sorry. Tomorrow morning, the trade balance is kind of what I was looking at. The same idea, but again, negative here. Industrial production supposed to be it's Italian, so it's not very big. And then the final unemployment numbers holding stable. The unemployment change is holding stable, but I don't know about the revised GDP. And that's it. I mean, you can see it's not even some of the big ones, right? I mean, the revised is nothing big. We already know what it is, right? Nothing tomorrow, right? Now, the PPI and the CPI for China tomorrow night is kind of interesting, and it will affect gold a little bit, but it doesn't have the same effect as U.S. PPI and CPI. Okay. Um, yeah, there's really nothing earth-shattering until Wednesday, so it's a very slow week. Yeah. Oh, is Will out there? Yeah, I see Will. So, Will, have some news for you, buddy, because we had talked about it. Matt and I had a discussion, and we talked about TradingView again and PineScript and what's out there and what we could potentially do. And we did happen to find a supply, and because I know there's specific limitations, it doesn't have as many parameters. MT4 is basic, but it's a programmer's language that you can do all kinds of crazy stuff in there. It appears at a first glance, and we're doing some additional research here, that there are people that are taking indicators from MT4 and bringing them across to TradingView. Now, will it have the button functionality where you can do the back test and go back and have it draw risk to reward curves? I don't think we're going to be able to do that there. But as far as drawing the zones itself, it does appear at first glance that we may be able to get that over there. So Matt is researching PineScript people right now to see if they're able to, basically, we're going to set a meeting with, when we find one that we like, and talk to him and have Matt run through what he's added, like the secret sauce, and see if we can bring it over to TradingView. So, yeah, PineScript's limited, but we have found that there are other people that have them out there, so we do know that it has some type of capability. It's just how close are we able to get it? And again, it's probably not going to have the backtesting function and all that stuff. Where it draws zones in the past, it may only draw zones going forward. So it will be a little bit more limited, but it will be nice that it'll be a second platform that we can have it on. So again, that is one update. Matt's researching that right now, and again, don't know the timeline. Like once we find one, we're going to meet with him and see if he's able to convert what we have. Because like I said, we're happy with the performance that it has right now. Some of the additional parameters that are in there that are not really things that you can do with the naked eye. And I got asked that the other day. They're like, well, what does the indicator do that your eye can't, what that I can't do? And the reality is, again, most of these zones you can see, right? Like you guys know from the class that, you guys know how to draw the basic level of zones, and then you know that there's like the enhancers, right? Different things, whether that you add in there, right? That are more visual clues, right? I mean, you could go through and do the same thing that the indicator does, but it does things kind of to a different level with percentages, and it takes a lot of like the gut out of it and makes it actual hard scripted rules, right? So it just makes it a little bit better, right? So yeah, so it may be coming. I know I told you last time we don't think we can do it, but Matt ended up finding something. It's like, wait a second, you were able to do that? And again, his knowledge with PineScript is limited, so yep. Well, you don't need to on TradingView. You can just use the actual risk to reward tool itself, right? I mean, I have this button right here, right? I can do these and do the same thing, and then just drag it, right? I mean, I can tell you exactly what the risk to reward is. So yeah, you wouldn't be able to do that. And I asked him, so it's like, we can use this function, right? You can take all the words off of it if you really want. So it's easy to do the risk to reward here. You can, draw out the different targets and look at them, right? You could use the fib tool if you wanted, right? You could use the fib tool. Right now I have the fib tool set for the curve, right? Because again, the curve is something that we didn't have. I was drawing those boxes, so now it's easier for me to use the fib tool here, right? Um, so there's a couple different ways we can do it. So yeah. So that's the update. So we're researching. So we're looking. We're trying to find the programmer right now. What is it? Just drawing the zones alone is a game changer for TradingView. Yeah, just the zone, and that's what I said. I said there's probably not many people that are using the buttons. I mean, like when you look at the different buttons, I have more buttons than you guys have. You guys only have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think you guys have 8 buttons. You have the violated zone. You have the time, right? We have the time because the MT4 timer sucks. TradingView, you don't need that one because their timing is much, much better, right? There's the risk to reward, right? Which is one of the buttons, which again, they have a risk to reward tool, so we don't need a button there. We have the old zones and violated zones, which is something that you may or may not have used before in the past, like the overlapping zones. The backtest function, which that would be nice. I use that probably more in teaching than you guys probably do in real practice, right? But it's there, right? And then there's the alerts, right? But again, TradingView has its own level of alert. So do you need pop-ups and those things? You can get them inside of TradingView if that's something that you want to do, right? And then depending on what package you have is the number of different alerts. So, you know, and the only difference I would really say between the two is at least MT4 is free. TradingView you do have to pay for, but if you're using it for other things, it could provide the same level of what we're looking for, right? So yeah, so it looks like you can do everything. We're just seeing if we can have it draw the zones and be correct. So, and then it would be easy. Then I have an online platform that I can use instead of because right now the problem is everything is based on this home machine. I can copy my profiles and bring them to another machine if I travel. But part of the problem right now is if I do any traveling, it's harder because I have to take everything back and I got to put it on the laptop and then I got to reformat it on the laptop. So it is a pain whenever I travel to do a chart school. Now, not that we're traveling a lot with COVID, but it would be a lot easier, right, to be able to just come back and do all the analysis, and literally just have it up here where I could just literally pounce, back and forth and start popping things. No, you're going the wrong direction, Tesla. Go down. I'm telling you, I will be excited if this hits 500. I may even send Nancy a letter myself. All right, let's go ahead and jump in the charts before my voice gives out. All right, so got a little bit of an update here on this one. So we're kind of pushing through a level that we were at kind of last week, right? I mean, we're sitting here right now. Let's see, yesterday. I mean, we were sitting here basically this spike up and down is non-farm payroll. We haven't really left. It came up. It grabbed the sellers in this area, which you would have expected. It kind of gave us a pop. There was another short entry here, but we're still really kind of in the same little zone here. And again, this is us on kind of the intraday curve, right? We're on the bottom side of it, so we'd be looking for longs off this level at 76, 72. On the larger, and again, I'll pop it back up so you can see it. On the larger time frame, and I think we drew that off the daily. Maybe we didn't. Anyway, we know we're starting to get into that lower level of kind of the middle range here and starting to peek our head into the lower third here. So, I would say at this point, I do think there's a little bit more dollar strength that come into the markets here. I do think with passing the stimulus bill tomorrow, that will also kind of give us a little bit more play. I mean, really for long opportunities here. I mean, yeah, this is an area where we've seen it before, but it did get chopped through with non-farm. And again, a little tiny level like this is not going to hold non-farm. But I will say that the level down here at 75.96, I think this is a decent region. So I'd be willing to kind of look into really probably this area here for some type of a reversal or kind of confirmation bounce. I think that's a decent level. Looking at it on a lower time frame, you can see that there's kind of a level on top of a level down here, and that's the first thing that we have below. It is about 80 pips lower, so we do need a little bit of help for that one to the downside. So that's the only thing that sucks about it. But I would say besides the buyers from here, we have clear sailing. Would I take this level again up top for a short intraday? Maybe. It's about 14 pips worth of risk. Really, at 8 o'clock is when this thing rolled and kind of pushed to the downside. I mean, you guys should have drawn a zone really kind of back in here to that basic level, right? So It's probably worth one more hit if you guys are looking for some, an entry later on today for this one. I'm gonna use a lower one. Mm, Probably wait for the middle, basically where the peak of this candle is. 77.13 is probably what I would use for that one. We got about 30 pips to go on that one. Base it off of here. So again, it's if it was able to push into here, there's no sellers until that point. So again, 77.13. I like where the 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio target is on this one. You'd be looking at that. Actually, you know what? I'll just take this one off because we can use this lower one now. Let's pull the intraday curve off. We'll adjust that here. And we'll put this here. Just so visually you guys can see it a little bit better. Right there. All right. So again, whoops, I slid it forward. 1 to 3 is in a good spot. All right. Also yen. Also yen, you guys can see, and you guys can see it over here. You guys see that the 4-hour curve? Look at this. I mean, we're literally. I'll mark it from here. Look, there's where the curve starts, right? Right there. Up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, and we're smack in the middle. So, yeah, this is what happens when you get stuck in the middle here, right? Sometimes you just can't get out. I do think this 82.77 level is fine. I think that's a decent level to get into. Right now, it's kind of actually pulling up into a little 30-minute zone. It had a decent push off of that one. How much are we talking here? 11 pips. It's not bad. I don't like it on the hourly. I think on the 30 minutes, not horrible. I mean, that's not. Let's see if we got enough room. Yeah, we got enough room. I mean, there's obviously some buyers sitting there. It's decent. I mean, again, sellers stepped in. It's not fresh. The level's already been hit once. So again, just be aware of that one. We've already hit it again. So, here's an interesting question. Hold on. Can we take this high on the bounce? Let me see here. Let's see. Ooh, it's just there. All right, so if you guys are looking for a short, you could take that one short, but this one may be, and again, a lot of the morning push is over. We are due, it's almost 10 o'clock, so we are due for a reversal. So I would say, in the near term, we may have this going on, right? And again, it's Monday with lack of news, so there's not a whole lot going on. We have kind of this sitting here right now, right? 10 o'clock, we're getting to that reversal time. Decent level, your risk on it's about 10 pips, right? Not horrible. We also have, I'm going to change, I'm going to need green, so I might as well just use that first and then change it. We also have this going on. To the top side. Oof, the 1 to 3 is a little bit far. It's 35, so yeah, so we could take that for 30. We'll shrink it to like there. So yeah, we'll see where the bounce comes through. This one will need to be adjusted. Right now is a potential short, not necessarily clean. It's been in this area 2 times before, so it's not the ideal opportunity. And again, it's looking at this one, it's because it is 9:53 in the morning, so it's approaching the 10 o'clock reversal time. But with the break of this one, if we are able to break through this zone, again, look for a hair potter to continue forward. And the reason why is basically because it's in a racetrack situation, right? We don't really have anything over here that's showing us they're sellers. There's a little hiccup here, a wick behind a wall, but it's so small. It's about 3 pips. Not necessarily as worried about it, but this is a decent runner of about 30, 32 pips back to the top side before we have another clean level stepping in up top, right? That's a clean level. We had a base and then bam, it got hammered down. So definitely want to be out of any longs before 83.92. All right. So again, I kind of like that one. It's making an attempt in, but we got a couple minutes before that 10 o'clock reversal. We start basing here. Look for this one to go long to the top side. All right. Now, Euro Yen, kind of the same idea. I mean, every time this kind of pushes itself right back into the lower area, it goes up. We did have the one short for 129.37. And you can see we tagged it, last week on around noon, and then it just kind of pushed to the downside. So Actually, not noon. Let's see. About 6, right? Yeah. Um, I'd say that level's probably worth one more hit. I don't necessarily, although this is holding down here at the bottom, it's a very, very tiny wick over wick. I'm not really a huge fan of that one. I would say, trying to go short, there's a decent level at top. That's the extreme level of the curve, which is 129.87. You could take this one for one more. Again, this is on an hourly. The 30-minute looks, you can see the 30-minute, there's two levels stacked on top of each other. Just take it off the hourly. That's probably the safest thing to do there. That one would look something along these lines, right? And again, upper third, looking for shorts, nice push up. That's due for a reversal. Now it does have a little level here though. Just this is gonna probably be a pain. I'm hoping that this 10 o'clock doesn't reverse us here. It may though because of the yen. It may, but yeah. Look for this one to push up. 129.54 is going to entry. Profit targets are 129.28 and 129.11 to the downside, taking us from this about 3/4 of the way up back into this middle range. And again, 1 to 5 is fine. 1 to 10 is a bit too far. I'd make sure that if you get into this one, make sure you're collecting your profit at 128.90 to the downside. Particularly if this is, I mean, again, if we get a base, it's going to give us a new level. But right now, you need to make sure you're up before 128.90. Okay. Pound yen. So pound yen is at the extreme range, right? We've hit it. It's pulled back again. It's kind of stabilizing. It was a decent push. I mean, this is a nice rally up, a single candle, and then kind of hammered back to the downside, back to the origin of the move on this candle right here. This one's been kind of bouncy, right? I mean, you can see the bounce here. Where is it? Here's where it opened in a level and kind of rallied up, pushed back down. It's up in a level now, and at least on the 30-minute, you can see that we do have these candles here in that ascending kind of pattern. I'd say there's sellers probably up there, and this one's been pretty decent, right? But it's grindy, right? It's grindy, up, 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 up. So I mean, it's not like an emotional kind of rally to the top side. It's in the same situation, and I would say this is also a yen-based play. Also yen, euro yen, pound yen, all kind of in the same type of level. This is a big zone, though. How much do we got here? Yeah, I mean, this is about 25 pip risk on this one. So, I don't know. It's high in the curve, right? It matches two other pairs as far as what the yen is able to do. But I just have a hard time going short the yen right now, or the pound right now, because I do feel like the pound has more potential to the top side. Now, it really does. I mean, a lot of the Bailey news is in. We don't have a lot more catalyst for this one for this week. That's why I feel like because there's no major economic release that can disappoint, I feel like it's kind of in that no news is good news type situation. But again, if it reverses here, again, this is purely yen play. We have Aussie yen at a level. We have euro yen at a level. We have pound yen at a level. So on a purely technical basis, it is technically a short right now, but we don't have necessarily the cleanest of ways to go. Now the 1 to 3 is a little bit deep, but it's got it's got a chunk through a lot of stuff in here. Right, this is a lot of chunking versus the other ones are. This is a lot easier to drop. Even the yen, a lot easier to drop back down to the 1 to 3 targets. Okay, now pound yen. Oh, I'm sorry, pound dollar. Pound dollar is sitting and kind of really flirting with this 4-hour level down here. It hit the 138.55 and bounced. It came back down and then gave us a decent base again. And again, that's why we need to make some adjustments. When it hits, it's like, where is it stabilizing? And you can see it stabilized up top. So it's actually probably easier to see it here on this and kind of just adjust it off of that level. So I would say right now we are kind of boxed in. There is decent room to run here. There's 78 pips top to bottom between those two basing levels. And you can see, we can mark it here, and we'll probably, I would say we probably adjust the drawn one a bit to there. Let's see, how much is that? 16, 12. I'll probably put it there. Okay, from that level. Put this here. So 138.92 in the pound dollar. And you can see pound yen, pound dollar are also getting to areas. But this one is much choppier, right? I mean, it opened low, filled, went all the way back down, came back up, and it's literally just chopping back and forth. I mean, it's a 40 pip range, but you can say it's like, is there a trend right now in the pound? Answer is not really. Not really, right? I mean, on a lower term, What's the trend here? Right, I'll make it big so it looks great, but what's the trend? There's not one. It's literally just channeling back and forth sideways. So, um, and again, lack of news. It's going to be dollar based, and I think tomorrow this will be a decent mover. Um, again, if the House does pass the Senate's kind of changed bill, I do think there will be some movement in this one because it will affect obviously the dollar and the way that it looks. Again, eh, we've had a dollar strong situation across the board. Dollar strong, pound strong. Neither of them has really been able to gain ground. But with dollar stimulus passing and things like that, that could definitely weaken the dollar. That could finally lead this pound to kind of break higher. And again, 4 hour, we're sitting in a zone. So I mean, it's an area where we would like to go long um, from this, but right now we just had the consolidation, small candle bodies, big wicks, lots of indecision. Again, it's a battle, but I think the dollar will lose this one first and foremost. So I'm kind of hoping we can push up to here before we get the news tomorrow of the stimulus. All right. Euro pound. So euro pound is down, and we're seeing a little bit of a bounce. It's a level we talked about before. Like I said, this pushing down, and I'll do it on an hourly basis so you can kind of see it. We talked about this being a level at 85.17, and you can see it came down, it touched it right from last week. Um, move this across right there, right there. Um, we called for the bounce. I do think this one will kind of retrace a bit. I think it will push back up here into this 86.12. Um, but it's kind of the same thinking, right? I mean, the pound data is basically done for the week. The euro has their rate statement coming in. Not that they're going to change rates or anything, but talking about how long they need to rates to remain low. I think there's European weakness coming in. Um, so I would love to say take this one long, right? And again, it is bouncing off a 4 hour zone, but it's kind of one of those like, do you feel that the European Union is now in a stronger state? I feel like the answer is not so much. I'd probably look at this area here. I still think that's probably your best bet for a reversal is coming off the 86.10. If we can coincide that with a European Open, then also I'd be into that trade. But right now it's got, it's going to continue to retrace. It's got about 18 pips to go. Their markets have about 2 hours to go. So we got some space. All right. So if you were in this one long, great job. You're up about 21 pips. But, this is just retracement of the morning session. Euro dollar. So let's go back down to that here. This one I actually need to, whoops. There we go. I need to catch up on this one. Let's see. There was your non-farm news. Let's see. Where is it? The 3 candle is here. There's your 9 candle there. Hold on, let me get caught up with this one. Right. And then your 3 kicks in here to 9, which is there. And then your 3 comes in here down to your 9, which is there. All right, so let's go back to a 4 hour basis on this one. Actually, go to a daily. So as we mentioned before, it looks like the first area we have sellers coming in. We didn't really, we said besides this level here, which again we kind of did a little bit of a bounce and base off of. We don't really have anything super strong for a while now. 1820 is one level, and I think we can see it on the 4 hour. Yeah, you can kind of see it over here. It's okay. It has hit a few different times. I would say that the 1796, this one right here, I'm sorry, 1745 is probably a better area there. Let me change this so it's easy to see. I would say that's probably the better level. I do think we will have some kind of a hiccup around that 1820 level. But right now you can see how far we have to drop for that one, right? About 133 pips. So I don't know. It's almost at a stage for me where it's kind of like, it's just so far away before we have anything clean. Right now, we're not really dealing with much. It's obviously trending to the downside. Dollar strength has been a thing that we've been watching. European weakness is also something that we've seen over the last 2 weeks. Rate statement is what, Wednesday? Hold on, let me check. Rate statement is Oh, it's Thursday. Yeah, I would say, I mean, unless we get a really kind of crazy reaction to the House passing the relief bill, I would say, I mean, this is kind of a pullback and a grander push to the downside. And again, on a 4 hour basis, you can see there's nothing until we get much lower. So yeah, I mean, I would have to say, staying short this one right now is probably the way to play it. And you can see, look, over the you know, last what, 1, 2, 3, 4 days. This is down 280 pips in 4 days, from a prior level that we had mentioned in the past. So, you know, and really, I would say the profit target would need to be like here on those shorts. Let me change this real quick. Let's change this and make this small. Let's go dark green. Let me see how much farther lower that is. It's about 70 pips. Yeah. So I mean, if you guys are short, I would say that that's probably where my first profit target would be using that larger time frame. You can see there's a little bit of a hiccup. Look for price to come down to 1806, and again, 1800 is a big deal, right? 1800 is quite a large deal. If we can get some basing at 1800, then yeah, I'd be looking for another short lower. Yeah, 1800 should be interesting. So, but we got some room to run on that one. We got about 70, 80 pips. But yeah, that would be a low for me. We're gonna be looking for again potential bounce off that double zero. Now, dollar CAD. So dollar CAD on the hourly. So we drew a couple different things. We were looking for pullbacks. We ended up getting the pullback. It went higher. We talked about kind of it really coming down, and I missed it by what, 4 candles. This pullback here. We never got the pullback here. We did get it here, right? And then it rallied all the way up. Then we talked about being up top, pushing down. Again, we did get it late last week, and we pushed back lower. So again, you can see it's getting a lot choppier in here. And again, we're sitting in the middle of the curve area. So I'll delete these 3 now just to kind of keep this cleaner, right? I promised I was going to keep these charts cleaner. I would say, no. I want that. I was going for this. Kind of the same thinking. We had a Harry Potter setup. We talked about multiple breaks here, so I would say it's still probably valid. We do have a new kind of level of basing. Let me see on a 30-minute if we can get a cleaner version. Yep, there we go. I'm going to move this and adjust this down, which is kind of interesting because it's more in line with the other one that the original we had set up. Right, so let's move this lower here. And again, it's much more on par with this Harry Potter that we talked about. So same thinking, I'll just adjust it forward. Let's pull that. Let's pull this. Oh, come on, move. Down. So I am looking for a break of that level. And again, it's basically the same Harry Potter. It's just we need to adjust it to a more near-term basing level. So look for this one to come down. It needs to drop about 60 pips. So it's about a day worth of movement on this. And again, makes sense. Like I do think there will actually be dollar weakness with the stimulus bill passed tomorrow. So it kind of makes sense as far as what we're seeing. There's a level here too. And again, it may give us a little bit of a hiccup. But if we're able to come down, I'm really looking for this to kind of pull back down and get some weakness. And again, it's the same idea, same thinking, right? I want this to kind of come down, and it can chop back and forth. I don't care about that, but I'm looking for a base of that one. Once we see the base, this one goes live, where we're looking for a break. And for those of you that don't have this one up, you can see that this is a break of 125.75. Again, like that level, coming down to a level down here at really 125, right? A 75 pip drop to the downside on that. So yeah, I like that one in dollar CAD. I do think 125 is a good level for this one to start kind of basing and starting to reverse. 25 is always good, being a quarter. The double zero is always good, being flat like that. So again, short at 125.75, targets at 125 double zero. Dollar Swiss. So this guy is grinding, but again, we're kind of pushing this one for the upper reaches of the curve here. You can see that we had a small trade setup and it kind of pushed. This was from last week. I thought I had deleted this one, but I guess I didn't. Again, that was a very quick trade from last week. Well, not quick. It took like 3 hours. Yes, it did. There you go. So on dollar Swiss, you can see we really don't have anything coming in until all the way up top. It's got about another 113 pips. That's 2 days worth of movement to the top side. I would say this one as well, although we are in the upper reaches of the curve. We got nothing on an hourly or a 4-hour level. You got to let this one go. If you are long, I'd stay long. I mean, there'll be some basing, there'll be some slight pullbacks, but unless something major happens to give Swiss strength, I don't think this one's going to slow down until we get a bit higher. Now, we don't know how to set our profit targets yet because we can't really see the levels of basing. With this red candle, if this, I mean, we got 20 minutes to go, but if it stays red here and then starts to pop, that's going to kind of, you know, that's going to give us a little bit of resistance before we can get to our 1 to 5. Right now, the 1 to 3 is sitting here, so we don't really know. It can still go, right? We got to wait till we get higher. But for those of you that know how to set alerts, again, 94.42, decent level for you to set an alert for. Dollar Swiss is not one you always need to watch. As you can see, this is a 4-hour chart, so it's got some movement, right? It's got some movement. Oh, thank you for the coin. I appreciate it, Tijin. It just got room to run, but look, there's not really anything here. There's been no way to really get into this one. I mean, look at the zone. I mean, the zone is what? 2.9 pips. And this zone has been, what, 3.5? So, I mean, not really anywhere to get in, but I would say looking at that, you guys can see it here up top. I think that is the level to play. And again, this is coming off a 4-hour and an hourly. Oh, you know what? I always do that. And then I have to go back. Looking at something along those lines. There you go. Extreme range of the curve. So I don't know if it's going to hit today or tomorrow. The daily ATR on this one right now is 71 pips. So it's not quite 2 days worth of movement. It's about 1.5 days. So I don't know. This could be maybe a Wednesday trade. See how this one goes. All right. So there's your dollar Swiss. Dollar yen is also rallying. Now, this one has been going crazy. You know, we'd marked this off where we kind of had a changing pattern. And then, man, Friday was like off to the races, right? Late last week, this one just went crazy. And again, we had our craziness here, pushed higher. This one just, it's, this is like one of my least favorite pairs. I like even some of the strange ones better than I like this one. But you guys can see, and again, this is the intraday level, which we got stopped there. Let's do this one off the daily. We need to set this here off the daily zones. Really, it should be this on the daily. It's funny. Dollar yen has been my least favorite pair for like so long. I've just never been a big fan of it. But I do like this 109.16 level. It is an absolutely enormous zone because it is a daily based level. We're not going to take a trade with a 70 pip stop loss. On the 4-hour, you can see it kind of shrinks a little bit. Let me see. Can we make this one smaller? I think we can see it. Yes, we can. And here we can shrink this to about 35. So let me mark this off. There's our distal. There's our proximal. Don't know that I can see it on this one. I can see it. Okay. I didn't think I could see it on this one, but there we go. 17 is much better. All right. There we go. And again, because this is way back here, it's going to be pretty skewed as far as what we can see. There. And again, we don't know if this profit target is going to make any sense until we get up there. We got to see what price looks like when it comes. But yeah, I would not be getting dollar short this one. Oops, that's a bright one. Let me change it to this one. Right there. Okay. You can see we still got room to run. So it's basically a refined zone down to the hourly using a 4-hour as well as an hourly. I'm sorry, it's a daily 4-hour, and then we just refine it down to get it to an acceptable risk level. It's at what? 109. 109.67. All right, let me see something real quick. 109.67 knockouts. Ooh. Might there actually be a knockout up there? Wow. There's a knockout at 109.88, which is the far side of this one that could actually, that could be used. Obviously, it gives you like what, 10 pips, 13 pips worth of risk, right? I'm sorry, 20 pips worth of risk when we enter that area. That's not bad. So there's actually a knockout sitting right there on the daily and hourly. So not too bad. Let's see. What is it? 109.88 to 107.38. So let's see. Let's see. Rectangle properties, parameters. What I say? 109.88 to 107.38. 107.38. And let's change that to. There you go. There's your knockout. So, eh, interesting position. Absolutely an interesting position there up top. So yeah, maybe it's not a today thing. Just don't get too excited. I mean, we're talking about being 90 pips away. It would need at least one day or something crazy would need to happen. Um, Now I'm curious. Let's see. What do we have later in the week? Um, hmm. Look at this on Wednesday. Like I said, we need one more day, right? We need at least one more day for that one to move for its ATR, and we have CPI on Wednesday morning. So if CPI comes in lower than expected, that could definitely be a big hurt on the dollar, which could lead us to an interesting kind of pop and drop into that level. Yeah, that's interesting traits. Like I said, knockouts don't always line up. This is actually one of those ones that it does line up. It's in the top of the curve. It's sitting in a daily zone, refined down to an hour, then refined again to make it acceptable level of risk. And there's a knockout sitting right there of $20 worth of risk. So or 20 pips worth of risk. Eh, decent trade. That could be a CPI trade for Wednesday morning. I have to keep that out there. Looking at NQ. So this is actually. Let me switch back over to this and this and this, and then go to NQ. And there we go. So it looks like the open, that zone kind of failed. It actually did go back up to the higher level. And again, it was a decent base. It was the top up here at the 112. And again, Monday morning, not surprised about that one. It pulled it from here, right? And again, here the red is your opening candle, right? We were trying to get this right at the open. And we were already sitting in that level. So I would say right now, I think NQ is going to be a little bit quieter today. I actually wouldn't be surprised if it comes back up there and tags that level one more time, and we end up somewhere over here in like the 1245, 450 range. I don't think today is going to be a big mover until we hear of the official stimulus. Again, we're about an hour in, and yeah, I mean, we open, we drop, we kind of push back up again, and now it's just kind of not doing much. Let me drop it down to 15. Yeah, you can see, look, it rallied up, kind of slammed back down, and it's going sideways. So I don't see. Let me see if there's any. Pandemic bond buying pace a little change this week. Draghi speaking. You're seeing there's not a whole lot of U.S. stuff here. K-shaped recovery. It is what it is. We knew about the paycheck protection. Yeah, so there's no major news today, and like I said, with nothing else going on, NQ should be not bad. And I'd say there's probably one more trade sitting up there, right? There's probably one more. If we can get a base through it. There's also a level sitting right above it. So I'd say there's a couple different areas that we need to watch out for on this one to the downside. But I don't expect today to be an absolutely huge mover. I think today is going to be a little bit more stale. Yeah, woohoo, Jin Jin. I don't really love too much on this one. I mean, I would say short, short. Kind of like this base here, although price didn't reach it. Yeah, I don't know. Let me see. I'm trying to think of a secondary entry for that one. Probably that. What do you got there? 12, 866, 12, 8, 11. I'm wondering if it's going to get front right here, though. I'm going to change that to a blue. Let's see. Watch profit here. Actually, profit's probably going to have to be here. Yeah. Like I said, probably worth one more hit. it had such a good reaction off the open. Try. Oops, not that one. Probably one more hit there, and look for it to roll over, and look for profit taking down here at. I mean, really. I mean, you guys can see it's right there at the 500 mark, right? 12,500 is where the base and the pop. So I mean, you're gonna have to grab your profit before you get to this level, right? Um, yeah, I mean, if we can get a bounce, I don't think this one's gonna be an earth-shattering mover today. Todd was in the belief that we would have huge movement in the indices today, but I was like, I don't know. Anyway, going across the S&P. S&P, we're back up to where the overnight gap happened, and you can see the open was pretty, you know, kind of back and forth, right? We rallied up, went straight back down, and we're right back to where we were. Again, we do know that there are sellers sitting right here, so again, keep on the curve, we can see that we're just approaching the top third, right? So we have this sitting right here, right? And again, was it a decent bounce off the open? Yeah. Was it a 3-to-1? It's probably pretty close. I don't think we were actually at 3. I just do short position. It's fine. Whatever. I don't think we actually made it to all the way down. No, we didn't. 3 had to go there. So it made it about 2/3 of the way down. Right. Problem with this level is this is not a fresh level. It actually started back here. We talked about this one last week. How pop came back up, pop came back up, popped came back up, pop came back up. So this level has been at a number of different times right now. Even looking at the next level up, trying to find something that is like super clean. Even this level where we knew we had sellers sitting here. I mean, it's a level we've talked about. Here's the formation. Here's the original, and they put the top in. They put the top in. They put the top in. So it's kind of the same thing. That level, so you guys can see, is coming up here at 38.93, right? 38.93, but it is also not a fresh level. There's just not a lot of fresh stuff on this one either. Let's see on the 30-minute. If we can clear this, we got pretty much smooth sailing up. I would say if we're able to kind of rally through this level, I think 38.93 may be a level that we can pull back from, just because we saw it before and we got a very, very strong push off of it. So, I mean, if you guys are looking for, something maybe later in the afternoon, right? Something along this. Right there. There's your 1 to 3. So you can see it's not a enormous mover. And again, all we're doing is taking advantage of the sellers that stepped in and really forced this down. So if we can clear the current area, okay. But again, remember this current area. This is hit number 3 and arguably number 4 right now is what we're going through. So although it's a small level, I think the trade has already occurred on this one. I think the trade was at the open, taking it short. It did make it to 1 to 3, but you were at least 2 to 1 at the open. It's not a bad mover, right? Excuse me. S&P going from 38.58. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about like a 20-point mover from the open. So it's not hard. It's not a horrible mover. But again, lack of news. There's just nothing going on here today. YM, there's that level. And again, kind of the same. The open looks exactly the same. It pushed up to the very, very brink of this level. The open kind of popped, went lower, and now we're going higher. Like I said, I don't think we have any shorts or even profit taking for this one until we come back up to here. Just trying to extend this across. 38,891. Look at the 30-minute. Look at this candle. Welcome to Monday morning. Yeah, I honestly don't see anything that stops this. So I mean, if you're looking for something small, I would do it this way. Wait for this to come up in base, and then change this from a red to a green. Go to green. Change this to a long position. Slam this higher. And your 3 to 1 is sitting right there. Head right on. Look at that. 1 to 3 right there. All right. I don't see this one slowing down before we get up here to the the 31,890. And the reason why, just so everybody's on the same page, again, we had a Harry Potter talking about it from last week. We had all the breaks in here. We were looking for a punch. And again, this was the Sunday night. I mean, we're not really trading Harry Potters in the overnight. We need to wait for kind of that, kind of response again, right? Where the basing is occurring. But we were looking for longs going from this area. And the reason why is because, dropping it back to a 30-minute chart, you can see that, you know, there's not a whole lot sitting here, right? There's not a lot of pullbacks. It was quite a bit of a fall. I mean, there's one slight pullback here, but nothing really decent until the first opposing zone we have is coming in right here, where we had this level of kind of a base down, a base sideways, and then just boom. That's where the collapse happened, and that was a very strong move. So I'd say look for this one to go long. I mean, it'd be nice if we can get the base and pull, but I think 31,890 would be or 895 would be the rollover for today for this one. Look at oil. So oil is just dropping, 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 dropping. You can see there's a little Harry Potter, kind of here was the gap. We based right at the gap level. We pulled down, grabbed it, and went that continuation pattern. We are continuing to push lower. I left these lines on here from before. This was a level that we had talked about. And again, here was the pop through that level. Now we hit it and use that level again. So, I like oil short today. I think oil will be a short today. I will say with all this in here, and if again you heard me for the Nadex thing. Where's my little? I want just a little arrow. And I guess I'll use this one. These are kind of big though. You got one here. 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 These are all levels where it's pulled back and buyer stepped in, buyer stepped in, buyer stepped in, buyer stepped back in. And that's why you're seeing it. It bounced, it bounced, it bounced, it bounced, it bounced. I think if we can clear through this area where we are right now, and again, this is a prior level. I'll bring it back up to an arrow so you guys can see it. It was a level that we were looking for in the past, and again, it Harry Pottered off of it. So if we do get a decent level, and we can drop it down to a 30-minute to see if it comes in, if we're able to get some type of basing sideways in here, right? Oops, not that. If we can get it to come sideways in, yeah, I think there's probably a short, again, coming from the upper third into the middle. But I think it's going to chunk through. I don't think this is going to be a very, very fast trade. So I'd be a little bit more cautious with this one Nadex wise. Back to the downside. I do think that I do feel that we could get down to 61, but I think the situation in the Middle East is also messing with this one, right? I don't think it's the normal big deal, but it is interesting, again, looking at the data. We're not really hearing a lot about it. Todd's like, oh, did you hear about that? I'm like, no, I haven't heard about it at all. It's interesting that the rebels are no longer using, like, mortar attacks, right? Like, years ago, it was like, oh, yeah, they launched a mortar at us, right? Now they're using drones, right? Rebel fighters are using drones now, drone missiles, right? So it's amazing how everybody's technology is going higher. I like it short. I don't know if we're going to be able to get down that far. And again, it depends if all hostilities end. So I would say for the week, bearish, but James saying, oh, it's going to 70. I didn't see 70 in this push. I didn't think it would go to 70. It literally made it to almost 68, missed it by 4 cents, and it's now down what, $2.50 since that time. So I think the first decent level of a bounce, I think, comes in over here at 63.80, where this kind of the bottom happened. We've seen it twice in this little small area. I think that's our first target. And again, that puts us in the middle of the range. Middle is not always the best place to go long again. I'm curious to see if we can get like a new 30-minute or hourly balance and how long it takes us to get down there. But right now, I would say I would have to remain bearish the rest of today for oil. But as far as grabbing a great little setup on there, there's just not a level that I'm in. I mean, again, a lot of these levels of the violated levels we're bouncing off of, there's not like a clean level, right? And again, it's Monday morning. This is very frequently the problem with Monday morning with oil. So, yeah, it's whatever. Gold. Gold is also not doing much. Like I said, any shorts in here, I said during Todd's briefing, 16, right below where we are, 1680 is where I expected it to go. I wouldn't necessarily be interested in taking any type of a bounce until we get down to 1675. And even then, I would need kind of a confirmation. Get the Harry Potter symbol to the top side, hit it, pull out, go back, failure to go lower. That would be my launching point forward. The risk level in this one is not big. It's like, 75 down to like 68. But you should be able to get a pretty decent entry off of that one. It's not really doing much right now. I think stimulus tomorrow will obviously help move this a bit. At that point, I would probably bracket this off a little bit better. But right now, you know, need it to go a little bit lower. I mean, its opening print really didn't do much. I mean, you know, European session drove us down, and now we're just kind of stuck, stabilized at the U.S. And it's 10:30, and we really see nothing. So really no Monday morning reaction for gold. Gold traders out there are probably pretty bored that this one has literally been stuck within a $5 range. Not much to do with it. And silver is actually on the green, but silver is it's bouncing off a lower level. I guess I should adjust this. I was drawing this from earlier. We expected the break again. 1, 2, 3, 4. We expected a break. It drove through. Let's bring this up to a higher level and readjust. Let's see. Hmm. Again, we were calling for the break. Hold on. Oh, there she is. I was like, where the heck is my daughter? Well, probably just as lower at this point. I'm going to leave the blue line on. This is when we were calling for a break. I'm going to pull it down into this level here. All right, we're going to pull it there. Hold on, let me check a daylight real quick. Yeah, maybe we'll use a 4. Yeah, it's fine. All right, to be able to use that, unfortunately, it's not really a clean entry either. Yeah, enter. 1, 2, 3, and 4 was the breaker. Pulled through. Let's go ahead and pull those off now. Oops. Oh, just pull, and pull. I don't need that level anymore. This level we will continue to pull across. This level we're going to keep on as well. I actually do like that one for a short. Pull that all the way across. Pull that across. Pull this to red. It's funny because there's a little pop in this one, but it's kind of the same thing. I mean, we really haven't had much movement. Man, there's just not a decent bottom on that one. Here was the bounce it took this morning. But look at this. This is just ugh. Yeah, we're about to go flat on it. Look at it. It's about to go flat again. Yeah, I mean, silver, I would say, it's in a position where, you would like to go long, right? We'd like to find a long. It is in the bottom level of the curve here, but, is it? It's running in the same thing. I mean, we're just not really trending, right? No trend. Sunday happened. I mean, this is Friday, no trend. Kind of popped up in the overnight and then literally pulled right back to where the start of where we closed Friday. So, we're what, 0.13%, as far as movement goes in this one. And I'm down on a 15-minute chart, and I still can't find like decent levels of popping. Even on the 15-minute, most of these levels are trash. I don't like how this is higher. Yeah, there's just not much in this one as far as entries go, as well as trend. I wouldn't say there's really any trend going right now either. So, fortunately, that's all we got for silver, right? Tesla's at 610. What else we got over here? That's interesting to look at. Bonds are down again. Natural gas is jacked up again. Look at natural gas. Natural gas is collapsing through the floor. Yeah, look at natural gas. Poor natural gas. It just gets beat up so easy. Nobody loves natural gas, unfortunately. I will say, I I had to get the propane tank refilled this weekend. The guy's like, "Yeah, it's even more expensive than it was a month ago." I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, it's up to 229." And it was two. He told me to hold off and not fill the entire tank in January because it was at 219 a gallon. He's like, "Yeah, it's really expensive. Wait till April when the price goes down." But we had that cold snap and all the ice and everything, so we used it. And he goes, "It's even worse now. It's 229." I'm like, "My God, this is killing me." So I'm happy about this. I would be cool if this goes down to like $1, so I can fill my propane tank again. Yeah, I don't even know where the heck is. Let me see. Do we even have a bottom for natural gas at this point? Yeah, not till down here. All right, looks like 256 natural gas. So it's gonna drop another 10 cents. Kangaroo trains are fantastic. What are you saying? Natural gas has it has its time and its place. Um, and again, a lot of this rally up over here last week in natural gas was Russia, right? Because Russia, so it's basically like oil is associated with the Middle East, natural gas is associated with the United States and Russia. We both have a whole lot of natural gas, so we're considered the two main people in that one. So yeah, so now that that's dissipating, you're not hearing a bunch of riffraff back and forth. That's probably why it's coming back down again. Natural gas also has a hard time this year as we start. People are like, "Hey, listen, it's supposed to be 70 tomorrow." Natural gas prices just start dropping. So, and you can see like on a daily basis, you can see, you know, we're quite. Actually, you know what? I'll do it on a weekly basis. You can get a better view. You can see that this is kind of a, you know, you can see this is you know, November, December, January, right? And then boom, it collapses down. And you had like, this was January, this is April, March, all that kind of stuff last year. We're down in the 170s, right? And then it drove back up again. And now, we should push back down again into these lower ranges of 175-ish level. So should be fun. I'm ready for some bodyboarding Canadian. Yeah, I think we're supposed to get to like 60 this week, 60, 70, something like that this week. Um, or within a week, I don't know. Um, It was cold on Saturday morning, but then once like the wind stopped and the sun came out, it was really nice. I'm definitely looking forward to spring. I'm not. I'm not. I'm going to say right now, guys, before anybody, I'm not looking forward to the allergies of spring, but I am looking forward to the warm weather. So, but anyway, that's kind of it for today. Like I said, I mean, unfortunately, this is what we have to deal with for the next 2 days. We don't really have any big news, and even the lower quality news is really nothing great. This Wednesday morning is our first real big response to you know, again, inflation, gold, silver, indices. So the biggest thing tomorrow is going to be the stimulus getting passed and see if the House try to make any slight revisions to it or anything like that. Um, I don't think they will. I think they'll pass it, and then again, it's about how fast it'll get kind of out to the people. So yeah, that's it. So let's get into the drawing for today. Where is it? Here? Yeah, there it is. And again, it's kind of a boring Monday. I got to build a slide deck. Um, Doggy going to the pound. I don't know. Where is it? Is it doing good today? Yeah, it's doing well today. There's your 45 minutes. It's like somebody mentions it, it goes higher, and then people will not talk about it for a couple days, and it will go back down again. So, GameStop back high again. All right, Reddit jumped in there a second time. Right. I mean, it basically fly, but I love talking about this one too. I'm gonna do this one, and then we're gonna do the drawing. So get your tickets in for the drawing. But look at this. First time Reddit was able to say, "Yep, let's bring down Wall Street." Right? It got up to $500. Then they're like, "No, no, no, we're not done." Right? It's like the little brother. Right? Here, I'll go to 2 hours probably easier. Right? You're like, "Yeah, we're taking down Wall Street, baby. Woo!" And then the next little pop, it's like, "Wah wah wah." I mean, somebody that has it at 380 is like, yes, it came back to 200. But then it's like, yeah. So we'll see what it can do. I mean, obviously here you can see, sellers have stepped in, right? So I don't know. We will see. I mean, all those guys that got it up here went on the pop again when it came down here at 120, like, oh, it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Things like GameStop, I feel like, I don't know. The funny thing is, look, I mean, look at this. You see the little hiccup there on the 2 hour? Whoops. Look at this. There's where your mark came in. So is it surprising that that's what turned it around? No. And actually, I mean, I used the whole candle. I could have done the right analysis and done it there, and just use the candle body. Actually, there's your actual candle. There's your gap candle. Look at that. Imagine that. Imagine that, guys. It held, dropped, retested, and then pushed down $80. So, if Florida hit 65 or lower, my brother, I know, right? People from Florida are crazy. I work down there, and people are just as crazy as you. I worked on the other side. So I worked in like the Fort Lauderdale, Miami area. People are not horrible there, but excuse me. Occasionally, you get somebody that comes across from like the Panhandle area, and all the stereotypes are true. All right, I'll give you guys another 15 seconds to get in. Actually, yeah, I'll give you guys 15 minutes. At 14, I'm going to close this down. I think it's great. I pop this up and put it on a second browser, and the time doesn't ellipse. It's kind of weird how it works now, but it hasn't been open just 13. It's been open the whole time. So we'll count it down: 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Were any billionaires really get hurt by? No billionaires got hurt by Reddit. Not at all. Nope. All right, so winner of today's drawing is, let's see who gets this one. Who do we got in here? Ernest is with 2. Silent, AC, Marina. All right, so here we go. Winner of today's drawing is Wealth Builder. Look at this. This guy comes out occasionally, and most of the time when he comes out, he wins. Kind of crazy. Keeps doing that. I'm telling you, you guys should flip this around and be like, is Wealth Builder here? And start with the no Wealth Builder, no Wealth Builder, no Wealth Builder. Because it's funny. He doesn't make everyone, but when he gets in here, he's winning. Right? It's pretty crazy. So, all right, guys, I gotta get. I'm rolling. I'm out of coffee. I actually may switch to tea because my throat's killing me. I'm gonna go get some. I don't know, coffee or tea. It depends when I get down there. If my body's like, you're tired. It's like the devil and angel. You need some more coffee. You want some more caffeine, right? And then the girl is out of snacks, so I gotta go get the girl some snacks. So, no Wealth Builder trip. I know, right? I'm telling you, Wealth Builder is the only one too that comes in. He's like, just so you guys know, I'm winning it today, and then ends up winning it. It's crazy. He's done it like twice. Ernest has never done it. Ernest tries to claim victory all the time, but has never. Typically, it doesn't work for him. But Wealth Builder comes in. He's like, I'm winning today, and it happens. I don't honestly have no idea how he does it. So. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys later. If you need anything, message me on Discord. I am around today. I got to finish up my slide deck for Todd the 16th. If you guys are not registered, make sure you guys get registered for that one. And they're always like, "Oh, one of your students is talking again." I was like, "Is it Ernest?" I was like, "Yeah, listen to that guy." So they know Ernest is my student now. So whenever Ernest talks now, they call him my student. It's funny. They're like, "Hey, your student's talking again." I'm like, "What is Ernest saying now?" So Ernest has been labeled. So, all right, guys, I'll catch you later. Take care. Have a good one.